Day and welcome to Mlc TV News Hour, reaching you live from the city of Lokoja, the Confluence State of Nigeria. I am Janet Gia Balagbubu. The headlines. President Muhammadu Buhari regrets fuel shortage collapse of national grid PDP presidential aspirant forms to cost 40 million naira. Within suspend students' family visas, says British High Court Commissioner to Nigeria, CATRIONA LAING. And Russia attacks theater, shattering civilians, Ukraine says. Now the news in details. President Muhammadu Buhari has approved the reconstitution of the National Broadcasting Commission (NBC) governing board. This followed the expiration of the former board's tenure, according to a statement from the media aide to the Information and Culture Minister Segun Adeyemi on Wednesday. The statement quoted the minister Lai Mohammed to have named Bashir Omolaja Bolarinwa as chairman. Other members who were appointed to represent various interests as stipulated by the NBC Act include Wada Asab Ibrahim, Ihan Ichuku Azubike Dike Adeshola Oyinloye Udu, and Olaniyan Olatunji Badmus. The statement read, also on the board are Bashir Ibrahim Obiora Ilo, Ahmad Sajo, Engineer Bayo Erikitola, a representative of the State Security Service, a representative of the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture, as well as the Director General of the Commission. The board has a 3-year term, the statement added. The President, Muhammadu Buhari, has expressed regret over the inconvenience caused to the citizens by the prolonged shortage of petroleum products and collapse of national grid. Buhari apologized to Nigerians in a statement by his senior special assistant on media and publicity, Garba Shehu. The president explained that his regime had averted in its 7 years in office, saying the administration knows the fuel shortage has placed a strain on Nigerian citizens and businesses, but relief is on the way. I especially apologize to all sections of society to this. The government is working round the clock to attend to this issue. An action plan agreed upon earlier this month is being implemented to address the scarcity. Working together with the Major Oil Marketers Association of Nigeria, MOMAN, and the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, IPMAN, this plan is now bearing fruits. Sufficient fuel supply has returned to a handful of states, with the queues at stations falling. In the coming days, we expect this to be the case across the rest of the country. The president added that he received information that some people are not behaving properly at the depots and among owners of petrol stations, and that in this regard, Buhari said he had directed the Ministry of Petroleum Resources, the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, the NNPC, and the entire security apparatus of the nation to take strong action against those responsible. On the issue of electricity blackouts being experienced across the nation, Buhari said the blackouts seen in the national grid are also being addressed. A dip in hydroelectric generation due to seasonal pressures has coincided with technical and supply problems at thermal stations. On this, the government is also working tirelessly to resolve the issues at latter to guarantee sufficient power flows into the national grid. As part of emergency measures put in place following a meeting convened with key stakeholders to address the low power generation in the country, the main challenge was identified as being one of low gas power generation as a result of sabotage of gas pipelines leading to the shutdown of power plants, coupled with ongoing routine maintenance on other gas power plants. To recover over 1,000 MW, actions were agreed upon between the players in the Nigerian electricity supply industry and also NNPC. The actions targeted the National Integrated Power Projects plants, Niger Delta Power Holding Company, and power plants run under NNPC joint ventures. Ajip and Shell and progress on the key actions have already ensured the restoration to the grid of 375 MW after the pipeline from Okpai 1 was repaired. To also ramp up on the underutilized capacity of the NDPHC capacity, a USD 50 million gas supply agreement is being finalized to secure the sustainability of up to 800 MW of underutilized NIPP assets. The Kogi State citizenry of Kogi local government area gathered in their hundreds, to celebrate the recent upgrade of Inuwo Gegu, the key royal stool, to first class, followed by the presentation of staff of office to His Royal Majesty Muhammad Abba Al-Hassan, the 15th Inuwo of Gegu by Governor Yahaya Bello. The event attracted dignitaries across the nation. At the event, the Kogi State Commissioner for Solid Minerals and Natural Resources, Engineer Abubakar Mohammed Bashir, got his traditional title of Masani Daudu, earlier conferred on him to Saudana Gegu Beki. In an interview with newsmen, Engineer Abubakar Bashir appreciated Governor Yahaya Bello for upgrading the Inyewos too. He described Governor Bello as a man of dignity who holds traditional rulers with high esteem.
Alhaji Dr. Yahaya Adoza Bello. He made it very possible for us to be in a joyous moment in Gegubeki at all time. We have been enjoying his administration. We have been enjoying the dividend of democracy, and I think we cannot thank him more than to ask Allah to spare his life, to keep him fit, and to bless him, and to give him the power and the zeal to propel this nation by the grace of God 2023.
He appreciated the Inyewo of Gegu Beki, His Royal Majesty Mohammed Abba Al-Hassan, for finding him worthy of the upgrade.
I have to continue to do more of what had made them to ban me or to crown me with the Sadona of Gegu Beki. I have to do more. I have to look at all the nooks and crannies in Kogi local government, Kogi state, to see where I can add value as a human being. I am a humanist, and I'll try my best to propel and to advocate the humanist nature in me, in my environment, my community, and Kogi state at large.
While describing the Inyewo of Gegu Beki as a blessing to the kingdom, he prayed Allah to continue to strengthen him at all times. Engineer Bashir Gegu noted that the honor done him was a more call to service, promising to continue to contribute to the development of the area. The Southerner of Gegu Beki appreciated the people for turning out in their numbers to grace the events, calling on them to sustain their support for Governor Yahaya Bello and as well remain peaceful in the conduct. Other traditional rulers from within and outside the area were present at the events. They described the event as a unifying sign and a sign of better things to come.
You can see the crowd, you can see the number of first-class chiefs that are here to witness this ceremony. Today, Gegu have said it, there will be no celebration that will be more than this again. Because first-class status is something we have been aspiring for. And we got it through the amiable governor, Yahaya Bello, and we are celebrating him today.
Historic, which indeed is something that you cannot forget. It will remain in our memory forever.
It was a very wonderful event, a very memorable occasion that we have been anticipating for a very long time. By the coming of His Excellency Alhaji Adoza Bello, he saw the backwardness of this land. That was why he decided to upgrade some chiefs around this place, especially Gegu and Grinya to first class, Tawari from third class to second class, Nyaba from third class to second class. So these are the events that we can never forget in the history of Alhaji Adoza Bello, and that is why we are using this opportunity to pray for him so that he will exceed from the governorship to president.
Gegu Beki community is located along Abaji Abuja Road, Kogi State, Nigeria. The Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission declared that subsidy amounted to about 600 billion naira during some period had now been stopped by the federal government. It also revealed that electricity tariffs were raised in February this year and was quick to, however, state that the tariff payable by some customers in the franchise area of one of the distribution companies was reduced. This came as power generation companies condemned the Nigerian Bulk Electricity Trading Company, stating that the NBET was failing in its obligation in terms of payments for power generated by the GENCOs. Speaking at a press briefing in Abuja on the challenges in the power sector and other issues, the chairman NERC Sanusi Garba stated that subsidy on electricity was a policy issue of the federal government that had to be halted. He said the role of the commission is to make a determination of the rates that consumers should pay, so we'll strike a balance between consumers and investors. Garba added so that policy decision as announced by the Minister of Finance, the subsidies have been at one time as high as 600 billion naira a year and gradually coming down to about 30 billion naira or so this year. On concerns about the rise in electricity tariffs, the NERC boss stated that the adjustment was made in February this year, following some economic fundamentals considered by the Commission. Garba described the tariff adjustment as absolutely straightforward, stressing that the distribution companies were meant to inform their customers of the changes. On the recent blackout and repeated collapse of the national electricity grid, the NERC chairman said the rupturing of gas pipelines by vandals and routine maintenance works on some power plants contributed to the instability of the country's power system. This was further buttressed by the Federal Ministry of Power in a statement issued in Abuja, the media aide to the Power Minister, Sanusi Issa, where it stated that the national grid suffered double system collapse within 2 days due to so many factors. He added, "We are where we are today also because of the increasing vandalism of pipeline that also supply gas to the power plants." The ministry said the federal government was doing everything possible through the relevant security agencies to stop the vandalism of pipelines. The Power Ministry added, "These challenges do not in any way indicate that the ongoing rehabilitation of the national grid by the government is not yielding results." This came as the GENCOS, through their umbrella body, Association of Power Generation Companies, declared on Wednesday that the NBET was failing in its obligation in terms of payments for power supplied to the grid by GENCOS. The Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Zainab Ahmed, says the federal government is targeting local borrowing in 2022 to fund subsidy payments. Ahmed, in an interview with Reuters, said the government would use 2.2 billion naira of the fund raised via Eurobond to cater to petrol under recovery costs. In September 2021, Nigeria raised 4 billion naira through Eurobond issuance. Ahmed, however, said Nigeria would not tap the Eurobond markets this year. She said, "Rising oil prices have put us in a very precarious position because we import refined products and it means that our subsidy cost is increasing." She said the government was working with lawmakers to boost revenues and that the rise in oil prices means that borrowings will increase more than planned. Russia's invasion of Ukraine sent oil prices higher and injected even more uncertainty into an already off-balance worldwide economy for Nigeria. High oil prices mean high subsidy payments for the government to sell petrol below the international market rates. The country depends almost entirely on imports to meet its domestic gasoline needs, even though it is a crude oil exporter. It is also facing shortages after recently importing off-spec petrol. Pensioners in Edo State on Wednesday embarked on a protest demanding the attention of the government over their unpaid gratuity entitlement, among others. Vehicular movement in Obarowen Square, popularly called Ring Road in Benin City, Edo State, was disrupted by protesting pensioners who in their numbers occupied the streets and displayed various placards. They also blocked all adjoining roads, demanding the attention of the government over unpaid gratuities, non-harmonization of pensions, among other welfare issues. Their complaints include non-payment of gratuity to state pensioners who retired from service in 2012 and 2013 till date, as well as non-payment of gratuity to local government workers from 2008 till date. The newly elected chairman, Christian Association of Nigeria, KAN, Kogi State Chapter, Senior Apostle Adebayo Olaniyan Emmanuel, has called on Nigerian politicians to ensure peaceful, credible elections. Speaking after the election of new executive of Kogi State Chapter of Christian Association of Nigeria, KAN, in Lokoja, Dr. Adebayo urged politicians to study and emulate KAN in conduct of elections. He commended amendment of KAN constitution that made zoning and rotation of offices in the association mandatory. If Nigerian politicians can emulate this, it will be very helpful in making the nation stronger. He said the election just conducted to elect new leaders of Kogi KAN was free and credible. Nobody was induced before voting. Everything was done in Christ's mind. There was no problem, confusion, or arguments. The National KAN has taken care of everything to ensure zoning of positions through rotation. He admonished Christians in Kogi State to be united, prioritize the gospel of Jesus Christ and work along with KAN. The new KAN chairman commended Governor Yahaya Bello for his continued support for the Christian body and urged the state government to continue to partner with KAN for the peace and development of the states. The new vice chairman, Dr. Ogaku Malakai Onailo, also commended the conduct of Kogi KAN election, describing the process as activity of godly children. He said, "We decided to honor God, that is why everything went well. I see the hand of God in it. This should be a lesson to Nigerian politicians and ensure we have peaceful elections like this." Onailo called on those in authority to take deliberate steps and seek ways to bring succor to the people so that every Kogite and Nigerian will be happy. Kogi State Chapter of the Christian Association of Nigeria, KAN, elected new officials to run the affairs of the body for the next 5 years in Lokoja. In his charge to the new executives, the chairman, North Central Zone of KAN, Reverend Israel Akonji, urged the new executives to be united in purpose and move the body to greater heights. Senior Apostle Adebayo polled 61 out of 83 votes to emerge chairman, while Dr. Onailo polled 64 votes to emerge vice chairman. Other elected executives, Reverend Ijoma Dennis as state secretary, Paul Animazu as Assistant General Secretary, and Pastor Israel Adebisi as Treasurer. We go on a short break. We'll be right back.
Every country has its peculiar system of government. In Nigeria, we practice democracy, and this is applicable in some countries across the globe, including the United States of America. What is democracy? It is the government of the people, by the people, and for the people. In the political arena, we are ready to x-ray how we play politics in Nigeria and other countries, the challenge of power shift syndrome, how it has impacted or affected the people. How can we make it better for all? Join Fatima Yacob on Mlc TV Online every Saturday by 9 p.m. to discuss and to examine all about the politics and the power that be.
Mr. President, I was once there as an opposition senator. There was never a time that we called the president at that time, who was a PDP president, an insult, because this is our institution. And if we don't conduct ourselves with dignity and respect, nobody will respect us.
The heads of security in Nigeria made several different explanations for killings of our citizens.
The Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 as amended, I hereby forward for the confirmation by the Senate the appointment of the underlisted nominees as National Commissioners and Resident Electoral Commissioner for the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC.
To watch or subscribe to our YouTube channel, Mlc TV, like our Facebook page, MLC TV, and follow us on our Instagram, MLC TV 2021. We are here to inform, educate, and to criticize constructively. Don't miss it.
Welcome back. The British High Commissioner to Nigeria, CATRIONA LAING, has clarified its earlier statement on the suspension of visas, stating that it suspended priority visas and not students, work and family visas for Nigerian applicants. The Commission explained that the development was due to a reprioritization of resources in response to the humanitarian crisis arising from the invasion of Ukraine by Russia. The Commission, in a statement on Wednesday, said it was still possible to apply for any category of UK visa in the usual way on government.uk and via its visa application centers. It added that the VSCs remained open and customers were welcome to apply for the standard visa of any category in the usual manner, including students, family, work and visits. Following the statement issued by the British High Commission in Nigeria on March 15 titled Temporary Suspension of Priority Visas for Students, Work and Family Applications, we are aware of reporting circulating in the Nigerian media and online that the UK has suspended students, work and family visas for Nigerian applicants. The mission apologized for any inconvenience this development had caused and promised to issue an updated statement the moment the priority and super priority visa services resumed. Now on politics. Following its 95th National Executive Council meeting, the People's Democratic Party has paged its nomination and expression of interest forms for presidential aspirants at 40 million naira. The party also approved the establishment of a 37-member zoning committee to make recommendations for the zoning of various elective positions for the 2023 general elections. The committee is expected to submit its report in 2 weeks. The party's National Publicity Secretary, Debo Ologunagba, disclosed this to reporters shortly after the conclusion of the NEC meeting on Wednesday evening at his National Secretariat in Abuja. Ologunagba said the fees for expression of interest and nomination forms are as follows. State House of Assembly expression of interest, 100,000 naira nomination form, 500,000 House of Representatives expression of interest, 500,000 nomination form, 2 million naira Senate expression of interest, 500,000 nomination form, 300,000 governorship expression of interest, 1 million naira nomination form, 20 million naira president expression of interest, 5 million naira nomination form, 35 million naira. The NEC also approved a 50% reduction in nomination fees for youths aged 25 to 30 years for various elective positions as sale of forms begin on Thursday. The council also approved the PDP electoral guidelines for the conduct of primary elections, okayed the timetable and schedule of activities for the 2023 general elections. In his comments shortly before deliberations began, the party's national chairman, Dr. Iyocha Ayu, asked fielding members to forget their differences, saying no party member should attack another party member. Ahead of the National Convention of the All Progressive Congress, 5 aspirants have purchased the party's chairmanship expression of interest and nomination form. The APC Caretaker Extraordinary Convention Planning Committee announced the sale nomination form on Tuesday in a statement by its Director of Organization, Professor Al-Mustafa Osiju. Among the 5 chairmanship aspirants who have picked their forms to contest the position at the party's national convention include Saliu Mustafa and a former governor of Nasarawa, Abdullahi Adamu. Others are a former governor of Nasarawa, Tanko Almakura, and Minister of Special Duties and Intergovernmental Affairs, George Akume. Also a former governor of Zamfara, Abdulaziz Yari, from the Northeast, has obtained the party's national chairmanship expression of interest and nomination forms. This is despite the party's leadership zoning the position to the North Central. There are also indications that a former governor of Borno, Ali Modu Sharif, also from the Northeast, may pick his chairmanship forms from the party's national secretary soon. About 4,000 delegates are expected from across the country for the APC National Convention, where new national executives will be elected to manage the party's affairs. Youth representative in All Progressive Congress Caretaker and Extraordinary Convention Planning Committee, Ismail Ahmed, noted that the party's zoning arrangement is a guide for its members, not a constitutional issue. Ahmed, who is the spokesman of the committee, said this on Wednesday in Abuja. He, however, added that all issues concerning the party's forthcoming national conventions, slated for March 26, will be ratified before the dates. Ahmed, while saying that the committee would not review the party's zoning arrangement, said the arrangement was put in place as a guide, not as a constitutional issue. Now to foreign news. Ukraine has accused Russian forces of bombing a theater where civilians were being sheltered in the besieged southern city of Mariupol. Deputy Mayor Sergei Orlov told the BBC between 1,000 and 1,200 people had sought refuge in the building. The number of casualties is still unknown. Russia's airstrikes and shells have previously hit a maternity hospital, a church and apartments. Mariupol City Council said in a statement that the Russian forces deliberately and cynically destroyed the theater, saying a plane dropped a bomb on a building where hundreds of peaceful Mariupol residents were hiding. The statement said the number of casualties was still not clear because the city continued to be shelled. Pictures of the theatre, which have been verified by the BBC, showed smoke from the site. Satellite pictures taken on 14th March, released by the US company Maxar, showed the word "children" had been marked on the ground in large letters to warn Russian jets away from the building. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky denounced the bombing and said Russia had deliberately targeted the theatre. Both Dmytro Kuleba, the Ukrainian foreign minister, and the city council accused Russia of a war crime in the wake of the attack. The BBC had been told that many children and elderly people were sheltering inside and that conditions were quickly deteriorating. Pedro Adrioshenko, an advisor to the city's mayor, said rescuers were struggling to reach the site in the wake of the bombing due to constant shelling. Local authorities say at least 2,400 people have been killed in Mariupol since the start of the war, although they acknowledge this is likely to be an underestimate. Many of the dead are being buried in mass graves. As estimated, 300,000 residents are trapped inside the city, where running water, electricity and gas have been cut off. Food and water supplies are running low as Russian troops have not allowed the delivery of humanitarian aid. Hours after news of the destruction emerged, the Russian Defense Ministry denied it had carried out an airstrike against the theatre. The RIA news agency reported. About 1,500 cars had managed to flee Mariupol on Wednesday, according to Mr. Oryov, the deputy mayor, but he said an attack by Russia on the convoy left at least 5 wounded, including a child. Now to sport news. Rafael Nadal battled past big-hitting American Riley Opelka 7-6, 7-3, 7-6, 7-5 on Wednesday to push this 2022 record to 18-0 and reach the quarterfinals of the Indian Wells, WTA and ATP Masters. The 35-year-old Spaniard, who won a record-setting 24th Grand Slam title at the Australian Open in January in Acapulco last month, stayed on track for a fourth title in the Californian desert, but he had all he could handle from the 2.1 million tall American, including a raft of serves that dropped the 140 mph. But he had all he could handle from the 2.11 million tall American, including a raft of serves that dropped the 140 mph mark and had Nadal's back against the wall, literally. It was a tense affair from the onset, Opelka saving the only break point of the opening sets. A patient Nadal walked the rallies in the tiebreaker, and after he gained a 4-3 lead, Opelka produced 3 straight errors to surrender the sets. Impervious on his own serve in the opening set, Nadal gave Opelka a break chance with a double fault in the 5th game of the second, and American pounced on it. Unable to take advantage of a break point in the next game, Nadal saved 3 more break points in the 7th game before breaking back to knot it at 4-4. Nadal roared ahead in the second set tiebreaker, and after Opelka saved 2 match points with thundering serves, the Spaniard finished it off with a winner. Nadal became just the second player to start a season 18-0 since the ATP Tour launched in 1990. Novak Djokovic has done it twice, starting 41-0 in 2011 and 26-0 in 2020. The 8th UEFA Champions League quarter-finalists are now known after Chelsea and Villarreal joined Atletico, Bayern, Benfica, Liverpool, Manchester City and Real Madrid in progressing through their round of 16 ties. Ahead of the quarter-final draw, UEFA assesses the sides hoping to reach the showpiece on 28 May from start and form to key players. The draw for the 2021-2022 UEFA Champions League quarter-finals and semi-finals will hold on Friday, 18th March. And now on entertainment news. Angelina Please, a popular character in the porn industry, deuced at age 24. Many fans have paid their respect to her following the devastating news the American porn star, who hailed from Chicago, was found dead in her apartment in Las Vegas on Monday. Angelina's body was discovered at her flat by police after no one had heard from her for 5 days. Her neighbor and fellow porn star ASPIRANT Brooks suggested in a tweet, according to AVN. A spokesperson for Clark County Medical Examiner confirmed her death but did not disclose any further details as it is a pending case. However, officers found no signs of foul play or violence when they discovered her body. ASPIRANT Brooks was left heartbroken by Angelina's sudden death. May her soul rest in peace. And that is the size of our news package. Please do join us tomorrow evening via our YouTube channel Mlc TV to watch our news hour. You could also like and follow us through our Facebook page MLC TV, Instagram MLC TV 2021 and Twitter at MLC TV 1. For your event coverage, feedback, comments or contribution, call any of our numbers displayed on your screen. And don't forget our special program designed to educate, inform, entertain and reform. The programs are Family Affairs, Saturday by 7 p.m, Political Arenas, Saturday by 9 p.m, Local Government and New, Friday by 9 p.m, and Women's World by 6 p.m. on Sunday. Don't forget our news on Monday to Friday. We are Mlc TV, reaching everywhere, informing everyone. I am Jane Gia Balagbubu, and do not forget to be your brother's keeper to build a united and peaceful society together. Good evening and see you tomorrow.